Hello, it's the 23rd of November. Welcome along to Renew Every Morning. I'm Paul Anderson-Walsh and I'm thrilled you're with me, so thank you. Well, if you were with me yesterday, I hope you've caught your breath because we had a big moment, didn't we? We were talking about this extraordinary idea that love bears all things, and this was about, if you will, the capacity to carry without crumbling. And we looked at that through the lens of two, I think, fascinating examples, one being the father of the prodigal son, and the second being Noah's Ark. So you haven't seen that, check it out, because I think it'd be worth you looking at. And it was part of a kind of conversation where we were talking about this next phase, this next movement, the third movement in the ascent of Mount Agapé, as I call it, where love, of course, God is love, believes all things, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. So we've done the first one, bears all things, and today we're going to think about believes all things. And just to kind of quick recap, the idea of the bears all things was, I was suggesting to you, this is the capacity to carry without crumbling. It doesn't mean, and I think this is important, absorbing abuse. It doesn't mean that. It means the ability to hold reality without being shattered by it. And my goodness, we all recognize that, don't we? And I explained to you the use of the word stego, which carries this sense of covering, of sheltering. And perhaps if I was extending that a little bit, I would say creating space where life can breathe. And I think that's an important aspect, actually, which we didn't really address yesterday. But the ability to create that space for you. And many of us feel very suffocated, certainly by our spirituality. And we feel made very claustrophobic by our religion. But actually, what's this lovely idea of love bearing all things is it creates space. It holds space. And not only it holds space, it holds you in the space. And I think this is the idea, if you will, if we were to add another image to the bears all thing ideas, this is Christ in Gethsemane, carrying the weight without becoming the weight. And I do a lot of work around coaching, and so many of you know my wife is a therapist, and so dealing with people that are carrying weight is a very, very interesting. It's so common, it's so typical. But anyway, this is about the idea of having the weight, but not literally, if you like, becoming the weight almost. So what's important to remember here is that when you know that there is only love and only love is real, nothing real can be threatened. Love can't be threatened. Think of what we really said about it, the characteristics of it. This is unthreatenable. And it doesn't collapse under pressure because it refuses to confuse pressure with identity. Now, you see that the problem is that the ego interprets everything as being personal, but the spirit recognizes this is happening, but it's not me. And therefore, love bears all things because it's grounded in the unshakable. Which enables us to move on to this idea of love believes all things. And this is the perception of the possible. So to believe all things is not gullibility. It's this lovely sense, if you will, of the kind of ego's purified, but not the ego, sorry, of the purified perception. Now, this stage is very important. Now, there's going to be something beyond that, but it's too much to go to right at the moment. But right now, it's about the purified perception. And when I have a purified perception of you, and I have a purified perception of me, I see the Christ potential in everyone and every situation. In my consulting work in the business of inclusion, I'd say to people that inclusion is about two things. It's about perception and it's about feeling. So the way I see you and the way drives the way I feel about you, and the way I feel about you drives how I see you. But this perception point is really interesting. What do you see when you see yourself? What do you see when you see another? Do you see separation? Do you see union? What do you see? But this ability to see and see the Christ and the Christ potential in every person and every situation is so profound because it's the opposite of what we do too much of. Suspicion, cynicism, weariness, certainty that nothing's going to change. No, this is a very, very significant step. Belief is vision. It's the mind choosing to see with Christ rather than choosing to see with the lower sense of self. And this is important. When I change the way I see things, the things I see miraculously change. Now, see, where ego believes in the past, Agapé believes in the possible. Where ego believes in narratives, Agapé believes in names, the true identity in God. And to believe in this sense, I guess, is to refuse to accept the finality of appearances. Agapé love looks a person in the eye and does not see what they're doing. It sees what they're becoming. And this is a very, very, very important step. Now, I just say to you, the implication of this statement is breathtaking. The Apostle Paul continues to unveil the mystery of God's love in this most extraordinary statement. Now remember, he has... How should I don't even know. I sometimes I stumble thinking about how to explain these things to you. This love he has for all, everything, everyone he's created. Not some of us, not just the nice people, the good people, the right people. I could go further with the alliteration. No, for all of us. And this is the mystery of love. See, what's so interesting about love is that love is ridiculously undemocratic. It's just not interested in. I'm sorry, it's ridiculously democratic. It doesn't care about who you are. It's not interested in that. It doesn't care about what you did. It doesn't judge on the basis of up and down, in and out. It's just not interested. It's not interested. I think if we're listening with our hearts, we should just be staggering under the weight of his love. I mean, just consider this statement for us, just this simple statement. Love, yesterday, not only bears all things, Paul now takes it up again and he says to the most absurd levels by insisting love believes all things. What does that mean? Well, let me tell you straight away what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean that he's gullible. It doesn't mean, you can pull the wool over God's eyes. It doesn't mean that. On the contrary, the absurdity of love is found in the realization that the one who knows us the best loves us the most. So the one who had every reason not to love us is the one who has no reason at all but the reason he finds in loving us. It's bonkers. It's bonkers. What the Apostle Paul is saying here beggars belief, because the word believe here literally means to credit, to have confidence, or to entrust oneself to another. Do you hear what I just said? Now, I teach a frame in my corporate world about what I call from confidence to competence to confidence. In fact, I took it from my spiritual teaching and I've integrated it into my corporate world. But it's one thing for me to say, I have confidence in God. Wonderful. It's another thing to say that my perception has changed and I'm developing the competence of God, that this life of Christ is growing in me. But here it's saying you're shifting from you putting your trust in God to God entrusting himself to you. What? That's just spectacular. The apostle says here, he's literally impelled by this higher prerogative to entrust himself to us. Can you imagine that? As I say, it's one thing for us to entrust ourselves to God, but surely, to goodness, we're pushing this too far now, aren't we? It's like insane. It's mesmeric. You're saying God entrusts himself to you, to me? What now? Yes, that's right. Now, all right, so just take a breath. And maybe it's just me, and maybe it doesn't excite you at all, but if this freaks me out, how do you feel knowing that even when you do not believe in God, and nobody, including yourself, believes in you, God still does? Just think about it, because that, my friends, is what's on offer for you today. All right, God bless you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.